Hi there everyone, this is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth on a very tragic event that took over the past few days. In case you don't know, a bigoted, hate-filled man drove his truck directly into the LGBT community on purpose. This was a premeditated terrorist attack where a man drove his truck directly into the LGBTQ community. Folks, of course, this is entirely not true. This is not something that I am saying today. I am in fact saying what a mayor in Florida emphatically stated as fact. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth. This is what the mayor had to say in response to this attack, which, ladies and gentlemen, actually turned out to be an accident. This from the Hill. Mayor, truck running into Pride Parade was terrorist attack. Fort Lauderdale, Florida Mayor Dean Trantalis said that an incident on Saturday in which a pickup truck ran into a crowd at a Pride Parade, leaving one person dead, was a terrorist attack against the LGBT community. A white pickup truck ran over two people, killing one in Wilton Manors, Florida, just outside of Fort Lauderdale. The vehicle reportedly barely missed Florida Representative Debbie Weiserman Schultz, who was riding in a convertible at the parade. This is a terrorist attack against the LGBT community, Trantalis, who was in attendance at the parade, told local station WPLG. This is exactly what it is. Hardly an accident. It was deliberate, it was premeditated, and it was targeting against a specific person. What an unbelievably irresponsible, flat-out fear-mongering thing for a mayor to say, with having absolutely no evidence whatsoever into what transpired. Yet he went on the record stating that, emphatically, that that was the case, putting that idea into the minds of the masses where the damage is being done. Well, let's take a look at what the truth of the matter is, shall we? As we see here from NBC News, Pride Parade crash that killed one and injured another was a tragic accident, police say. The crash was not a criminal act directed at anyone or any group of individuals. A deadly car crash at a Pride event in Florida over the weekend was unintentional and a tragic accident, authorities say. It goes on here to say, today we know that yesterday's incident was a tragic accident and not a criminal act directed at anyone or any group of individuals. And in fact, as we see here, guys, both the driver and the victims were part of the same Fort Lauderdale gay men's chorus. So some gay men accidentally drove into another group of gay men in a terrible, tragic accident. Yet the mayor went on the record and emphatically stated that it was an act of terrorism. Why did he do that? Because I think he is becoming the very same thing, the people that he listens to. And you know, it does a great deal of damage in the minds of the masses to add to this notion that there are a whole bunch of bigoted people running around who just hate trans people and are actually going to become violent towards them. It's just nonsense. I'm sure that happens on a small scale to some degree, but certainly not to the extent to which the mainstream media and these politicians would have you believe. It's about putting you into this perpetual fear state. Well, thankfully, the truth of what actually happened came out in a pretty quick amount of time. And the very following day, this douchebag of a mayor put this on Twitter. Last evening, at the start of what was to be a celebration of pride for the LGBT community and commemoration of our hard-won victories for equality, our community faced the worst of tragedies. The grief of our LGBT community and the greater Fort Lauderdale as a whole is palpable. I was an eyewitness to the horrifying events. It terrorized me and all around me. I reported what I saw to law enforcement and had some strong concerns about what transpired. Concerns for the safety of my community. I feared it could be intentional, based on what I saw from mere feet away. No, I think you thought it may have been intentional based on the propaganda that is swirling around from guys like you who do exactly what you are doing right now. Let's continue. Law enforcement took what appeared obvious to me and others nearby and investigated further, as is their job, and as the facts continued to be placed together, a picture is emerging of an accident. Well, yeah, you douchebag. Maybe you shouldn't have jumped the gun, huh? Maybe you shouldn't have pumped fear into the minds of the LGBT community. You know, trans people walking around the streets now thinking that, you know, there may be a bigot lurking around any corner that seeks violence against them. Unbelievably irresponsible thing for this guy to do. He finishes it off, say here, as their job, as the facts continue to be placed together, a picture is emerging of an accident in which a truck careened out of control. As a result, one man died, 2 others were injured, and the lives of 2 members of Congress were at risk. My heart breaks for all impacted by this tragedy. And he didn't apologize for the mistake. He didn't say I was wrong. He just said, this is what I thought was happening, guys, so I said so. As I said, this does do damage in the minds of the masses, but Twitter certainly isn't concerned about that. You know, these things were trending on Twitter. Again, permeating this idea into the minds of the masses. We see here, Twitter allows harmful disinformation to trend following Pride Parade accident in Florida. During a Pride Parade in near Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Saturday evening, a pickup truck plowed into parade participants, killing 1 person and seriously injuring another. Representative Debbie Weiserman Schultz was in a nearby car. The mayor pounced and called it terrorism without having any facts. This is a terrorist attack against the LGBT community, Fort Lauderdale Mayor Dean Trantalis told reporters. This is exactly what it is, he said, hardly an accident. And he said that to the reporters who printed this. They put that out there. They tweeted it. And it became viral. It started trending. Did Twitter look in to see if this was true or not? No, they didn't. You want to know what kind of information Twitter gets down right away? I was suspended once for 2 weeks on Twitter because of this. Twitter suspends Dan Dix for saying a man is not a woman and for referring to Jessica Yaniv as a him. That's right, folks. I was suspended off of Twitter for saying the truth. That a man can't become a woman, and a woman can't become a man. And that this guy, Jessica Yaniv, is a him. All true things. I was suspended. Yet, this mayor can make these claims about a so-called terrorist attack against a certain community and not even be questioned whatsoever. You need to question that, guys. And you also need to question the similarities that we're seeing here to what's been happening with the London truck attack, so-called against the Muslim community, allegedly because of Islamophobia. Justin Trudeau emphatically stated, like right away, immediately, that it was a terrorist attack. Let me remind you this from the CBC. This was a terrorist attack. Trudeau condemns London hit and run that left 4 Muslim family members dead. Prime Minister promises action after brutal, cowardly, and brazen attack. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau today condemned a brutal, cowardly, and brazen attack on a London, Ontario Muslim family, saying the hit and run that left 4 people dead was a terrorist assault motivated by religious hatred. This killing was no accident. This was a terrorist attack, Trudeau said in a speech in the House of Commons. Trudeau said Sunday's attack was not a one-off, citing numerous eruptions of anti-Muslim violence in recent years that have claimed lives. You guys, I hope you're seeing the similarities of the language here. This is no accident. This was premeditated. This was done because of this religious group. You know, it's not just Justin Trudeau. As I pointed out, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, also went into the House of Commons and gave a horrific speech, rife with fear-mongering. And I just absolutely had to rip that one to shreds, guys, in this video here. The truth about the Muslim truck attack in London: Islamophobia is not your enemy. And I followed that up with on the exact same day with this video, guys. Still no motive for the London attack, yet Islamophobia is in the headlines despite new evidence emerging. New evidence has emerged that directly contradicts the narrative that, quote, Islamophobia was the reason for an attack on a Muslim family, yet Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh and others have already emphatically stated that this was indeed the work of hatred and a terrorist attack. An eyewitness stated that the suspect asked him to call the police. He also asked him to film the arrest. Meanwhile, his close friends, one who is from the Middle East, says he is not an Islamophobe. In fact, he contacted one of them 3 days prior, stating that he was having issues with the steering in his new truck. Ladies and gentlemen, I have some new information that I want to get to in this video that has been divulged to me from some sources that have information on what happened. But before we get to that, let's bring you up to speed on the new info, right? So his friends, first of all, says he is absolutely not a Islamophobe. Actually, let's back it up a little bit. Immediately after this accident took place, the kid, when he had a chance, pulled over. He pulled up in front of a cab driver and he called out to the cabbie behind him and said, "Hey, can you call the police? I've just killed somebody." The cab driver looks in his mirror. The kid was behind him, rather. He looks in his mirror and he sees that, yeah, there's blood on the truck. So he calls the police, and when the police arrive, the kid is being seen taken out of the truck by the police, laughing and asking the cab driver to film the arrest. Now, I don't know about you, but I know it's common in high stressful situations and when people are extremely severely stressed, it can cause you to break out in laughter. And as I said in my most recent video, it seems to me that the arresting officer likely told the kid what he was being arrested for, which was the reason why he asked the cab driver to film the arrest. Usually when you ask somebody to film an arrest, it's because you believe you are being arrested unlawfully. And you know, perhaps he was nervous, stressed out, hence the giggling and asking the guy to film him. Okay, on top of this, interviews were done with his best friends, okay? And they all say this kid is not an Islamophobe. He's never said anything bad about the Islamic faith. He's never had anything against Muslims. This is just not a thing. He's a good, God-fearing Christian kid. One of his best friends is from the Middle East. In fact, one of his friends, guys, told him that he was having trouble with his steering wheel on his new truck 3 days before the attack. This is all information that is apparently not being counted by Justin Trudeau or Jagmeet Singh or others claiming this is a terrorist attack. But this is, in fact, what's going on with this case. Now, I have some new information. As the report stated, the kid was wearing protective chest gear. And I did find it interesting that they didn't say bulletproof vest. They said he was wearing protective chest gear. Well, sources of mine, folks, who know some things from the inside tell me that the kid was actually on his way home from playing paintball that day, which would obviously explain why he's wearing protective chest gear. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks to me like the London truck attack is a very similar case that we have with the LGBTQ truck attack that just happened in Florida. That was a non-event. It turned out to be a complete accident. But in that case, the truth came out very quickly. In this case, guys, I think they're going to drag this one through. They're going to carry it out as much as possible so that the damage is done in the minds of the masses, so that by the time the truth comes out that this kid is innocent and it was in fact an accident, the damage will already be done. People will already have it sewn into their minds that yes, there is a problem. Islamophobia is a real thing here in this country. In fact, we need to break down on free speech and anybody who says anything bad about Islamophobia. Guys, I say things bad about Islamophobia. I say it's a nonsensical term. It's complete nonsense, and it's relatively non-existent in this country. So I am now the enemy of the state. I'm the kind of voices that they're going to want to come and shut down as a result of these things. This is why the truth is important. This is why we have to continue to actually do our due diligence and look at the facts and not take the word from these politicians. We've seen how they lie or are just flat out emphatically wrong because they themselves have been conditioned. Guys, this is really important information for people to understand. They're going to continue to use this one in Canada to clamp down on your rights, take away your fundamental rights and freedoms from you, all under the guise that a terrorist attack took place in London, when it's my contention that I think we're going to find out in the very near future that this was indeed an accident. Friends, please share this information. Click that thumbs up button. Get this video out there. They are censoring this information. I'm currently banned from posting for 2 weeks to my main YouTube channel for a video that I posted years ago because the censorship is real. The censorship is heavy, and they're ramping it up. Look at Bill C-10. Maybe they'll use this event as an excuse to whisk that one through, or something far worse, guys. Please get the information out that this is happening, and that you know, when you hear the talk around the dinner table about Islamophobia and they point to this kid as being proof, point them to this video and my other videos on this particular case. I'm going to continue to track this one, guys, as it develops. Be sure to stay tuned if you want to get further updates, and if I have any new evidence or information coming in, I'll certainly let you know. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check the links in the description if you appreciate my efforts and you want to support me at pressfortruth.ca. Any and all contributions are greatly appreciated. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.